Hello and welcome. This is your Wish Upon a Star lunar horoscope for Thursday, January 28th, 2021. The full wolf moon occurs while transiting through the 11th lunar mansion at 7:16 p.m. And that's, again, mansion of the moon number 11. We're using tropical astrology and universal time coordinated. Luna's activation of lunar mansion number 11 during the full moon at 100% light is potent for completing projective magic rituals and starting plans for receptive magic spells. Mansion of the moon number 11 is in effect from the evening of January 28th at 6:19 p.m. until early in the evening on January 29th, and that's at 5:05 p.m. With the full moon occurring in Leo at 7:16 p.m., lunar mansion number 11 is magically activated at the exact time of the full wolf moon in Leo. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the astrology angel. I'm a Rosicrucian seer, biblical astrologer, Christian psychic, and Gnostic mystic. And this is a readings by Rosemary angelic transmission. The astrology angel magical invocations and horoscope prediction method, which we teach, should be used with all mindfulness since powerful forces of manifestation are unleashed. This is intended exclusively for entertainment purposes. Now, Luna will be in Leo at 8 degrees, 34 minutes, and 17 seconds to Leo 21 degrees, 25 minutes, and 40 seconds, according to Abraham. So that's the coordinates of this mansion of the moon, okay, number 11, according to Abraham, okay? And the stars to wish upon inside the 11th mansion of the moon, called Al-Zubra, are named Zosma and Coxa in the main of Leo. And that's the great Arabic line, according to Christopher Warnock. Ask the angel of Delta Leonis, which is Zosma, and Theta Leonis, which is Coxa, who is named Neciel. It's the name of the angel of this mansion, Neciel Al-Zubra. Al-Zubra is the name of the mansion, the 11th mansion, and Neciel is the name of the angel, okay? And Zosma and Coxa are the names. You can also call them Delta Leonis or Theta Leonis, okay? And if you need the blog to make sure you get all this down, it's in the description box. You can click on it and it'll bring up the blog. Okay. So again, this information at the moment is according to Christopher Warnock, and we'll give you some other references later on. Now, ask the angel of Delta Leonis and Theta Leonis, that's Zosma and Coxa, again, who is named Neciel, to bring you glory, to bring glory to you, that all men shall fear you, and that you receive all good things from kings, noblemen, and lords. Now, magicians often use the image of a man riding a lion and holding the lion's ear to persuade the angel of Al-Zubra, that is Lord Neciel, to do his bidding. Warnock describes and discloses that when the moon transits through mansion of the moon Al-Zubra, magicians create renderings of liberating detainees, gaining revenue from setting up routes of business gotten from encircling and overwhelming urban centers and towns, for people to journey securely, to make structures established and solid, and to swell the riches of friends, associates, and contacts. Making such representations and then showing them to the intended audiences causes these events to come to pass. Okay? Now Agrippa reveals the name of lunar mansion number 11 as being a Zobra or Arduf, which means hair of the lion's head. During mansion of the moon number 11, sorceresses and sorcerers shape representations deliberately to profit expeditions, to expand by way of acquiring commodities, goods, and services, and to free prisoners. Agrippa also reveals that an emblem made of gold, possessing the illustration of a man holding a ring made of gold in his right hand while riding upon a lion and holding the great cat's ear in his left hand, creates trepidation, admiration, respect, and veneration of the one who creates the emblem, of the one who creates the emblem towards her or his desired spectators. So if you want people to worship and revere and respect you, you put yourself on a lion in an image, holding a gold ring in your right hand and and holding the lion's ear in your left hand. Yourself, and that will make those who are your target audience worship, revere, and respect you. Okay? Now, to make the gold icon even more magical, the ancients scented the rendering with luxurious, sweet, and fine aromas, as well as with saffron, according to Agrippa. According to Kabbalistic lore, Leo is ruled by the sun. Leo's birthstone is peridot. Now, rosaries and amulets using peridot for Leo are magically potent for this praxis. Kabbalistic and alchemical planetary associations in this instance of a full moon in Leo, whilst transiting through lunar mansion number 11, could be utilized with perfumes, essential oils, herbs, or flowers, as well as colors. Planetary alchemical metals in this case would indicate gold for soul or the sun. Gold is practical and workable for this operation. Now, regarding the Leo birthstone of peridot, this could be used for amulet talismans as well as rosaries, for the beads, or for the gemstone, or even if you want to make a magical jewelry, So again, you can use the peridot for the gemstones or the beads, and you can use gold or gold plating could be used for the forming of a rosary chain, or for the base or bezel of a talisman like an amulet, or for the setting of a jewelry, a magical jewelry with the peridot jewel, or bead, So understand, you can do a lot with this. Now, it's important to note here that according to Vivian Irwood Robson, author of the book The Fixed Stars and Constellations in Astrology, the Greek astronomer Ptolemy attributes the stars Zosma and Coxa, which are located specifically in the hips of the lion, as being attributed to the planets of Saturn and Venus, in regard to the planetary nature of this area of the constellation of Leo the lion. This is in contrast to the other portions of the body of the lion, where Ptolemy assigns differing planetary aspects. One might ask at this juncture, why are the stars Zosma and Coxa associated with lunar mansion of Alzubra, which has the meaning of being the mane of Leo the lion? Why? Okay, this is because in Arabian astrology, the great lion that is also encompassed, other nearby Western zodiac signs, was seen as being considerably bigger than the constellation of Leo, with which we are now familiar. Like, it used to be like Leo, the rump of Leo used to be the mane of Leo in the Arabian system. Where the more modern system, you'll see Leo and parts of Cancer and that kind of thing. And then in like, for example, for Scorpio in the Arabian astrology was bigger, and now you see like where the claws and horns of Scorpio are actually the scales of Libra. So you understand what I'm saying? That's why. Okay. So you have to go back to all the ancient sources and then combine and then bring it into your present time to the best of your ability. And that's what we strive to do here. So you can use this to help yourself come into riches and health, and all forms of good things will come to you. Now, we tell you about the ones that are bad too, because sometimes in the bad ones there can be found medicines, because all medicines can be toxic or therapeutic depending on the dose. So even bad things also have good use, as the good book says, God uses all, brings all things for good to those who love God and serve his purpose. You understand, all things can be used for good, and that's a Kabbalistic teaching that goes back to Abraham. Now, since Ptolemy attributes the stars located in the hips of the lion to be associated with the planets Saturn and Venus, and since Saturn is alchemically associated with the toxic metal of lead, the magician can then consider using the other alchemical metal associated with Zosma and Coxa, which is the alchemical metal of Venus being copper. While the metal of lead is saddled with a toxicity warning due to possible causation of lead poisoning, Copper, on the other hand, is both workable and pragmatic for this operation. Rosary chains, jewelry settings, and bases for amulets could be formed from copper, bestowing a Venusian element to the magical talisman. And remember, the Bible starts off with the Elohim. In the first verse of the Bible, the Elohim is the word for God. When God created the heavens and the earth, it's actually, it doesn't say God, it says Elohim. And that's associated with the Venusian, they're associated to be Venusian angels, or from Venus. So the entire Bible is written from the point of view of the Elohim, and from the number 7 and the Sephirah of Netzach, which is way down on the chain there, going towards the earth plane. It's not in the higher realms. Understand that. And actually, when you have the Christ figure come in the New Testament with the solar attributes and the solar deities, they raise it up to the Sephirah of love and the Sephirah of beauty, being the heart chakra of Tiferet, not just the hip in Netzach. Okay, so understand that if you're using the Bible, you're coming from a Venusian and from the Sephirah of Netzach. You're coming from the goddess Venus and Aphrodite. That's what you're doing. Okay, and understand that the God runs through the body of the woman, and the goddess runs through the body of Mars. Understand that. Okay? All right. Now, and the Catholic Church is set up just like the Kabbalistic diagrams, where you have the altar, that's the 3 top supernals of Keter and Chokhmah and Binah, and then you have the gate, and that's the abyss and Da'ath, and then below that you have all the other Sephirah. And that's why people can't go beyond a certain point unless they're allowed on the altar. It's all set up on the Kabbalah. And it all goes back to Abraham, who's the father of all the Abrahamic religions that all have to have a sacrifice. Understand that. It all comes from the same place. All right, now, so this is when we're talking about the copper Venusian quality, if you want to add that to your talisman, because you can add Venus or Saturn for Coxa and Zosma precisely in the hips of the lion. Okay, because some of the other correspondences are more general, or to hide the toxicity. Some people might use the toxicity, and try to do harm to their enemy or something. You understand? So some of these could be magical blinds too, to stop you from understanding that sometimes poisons are used to battle one's enemies. Those of you who watch Harry Potter know all about the magical forces battling each other, and all of that. In reality, we all have all of these forces within us, and we have to find a way to bring them all to their highest purpose in our own higher guardian angel, and bring them all for our own specific, very specific purpose. We all have a very specific purpose, to which we are all important. We are all essential, and we are all extremely essential, because we can't get to the final great work unless we all put in our piece of the puzzle. Once we all put in our piece of the puzzle, and all the pieces of the puzzle brought together, the whole picture is formed, and then we ascend to the new level, and we live in the kingdom, and the Messianic kingdom. Okay, now, also understand that magicians could also consider forming Al-Zubra talismans for Lunar Mansion number 11 from the solar alchemical metal of gold, as Agrippa recommends. You could do that too, because that's associated with Leo in a more general sense. But specifically for Zosma and Coxa, Saturn and Venus are much more, and so if you're going to not want to use a poison one, you want to use a copper, is a very good, a peridot and copper rosary would be beautiful, or an amulet. That would be very, or even some pieces of jewelry. And then you use the angels, and you make the pictures and you recite the chant to ask what you can even just ask for it from these angels. They're also called lords. They're called either angels or lords. And sometimes the lords' names are slightly different than the angel name, but that's why these books are very helpful. Okay, now, in summary then, rosaries for Mansion of the Moon number 11 could be made from either copper, gold-plated, or gold chains to which peridot beads are affixed. Magical jewelry or amulets could also contain combinations of peridot gemstones attached to copper, gold-plated, or gold metal chains, settings, or bezels. You can use you can easily get a gold chain and put peridot beads, would be gorgeous. You can get gold-plated chains and peridot beads for a beautiful rosary for this Mansion number 11. Okay, now other magical correspondences for lunar mansion number 11 are as follows. The moon in Leo provides qualities of being compelling, witty, amusing, feral, and charismatic. These natives are said to be charitable and compassionate. Planetary archangel for Luna or the moon is Gabriel. God is my strength, a power of God and a messenger of God, or power of God and a messenger of God, where Raphael is the messenger of God. Gabriel is a messenger of God, but is the power of God, and God is my strength. Now, the zodiac angel for Leo is Virchiel, whose divine tone is I will. Tarot card for Luna or the moon is the High Priestess, and we have the High Priestess card here on the Rider-Waite deck, the giant Rider-Waite deck. And it's, you see the High Priestess sitting between the pillars of Joachim and Boaz. She is the water of God flowing. Yeah, that God consciousness flowing over the crescent moon that is receiving the waters of God. And she has a cross on her chest, and she has a scroll that she's holding in her lap that says Torah on it. And of course the tarot cards are the picture portion of Kabbalah, where the Torah is the written portion of the Kabbalah. Both are necessary. The written portion is for the left brain, the picture portion is for the right brain. So we have, like in Yentl, we have the picture books for women and scripture books for men. That's fine. That's just the right and left side of the brain. There's nothing wrong with that. And in the middle we have the Messiah, the pineal, that uses them both, because if some women are more masculine than other women, or some men, because they have masculine zodiac attributes, and then some men are more feminine than women or than men, because they have a lot of feminine and specific feminine zodiacal attributes. All of this, and so it's all balanced by the Mashiach or the Messiah in the middle, in the pineal awareness, in the pineal gland, so that all people can come to their perfection as God intended. For God created all of this, and the goddess created it because they are one. The goddess and the God are one. The goddess has been hidden, and now she's being brought into the light, and that's the revelation. The great apocalypse is, what is revelation? Apocalypse is Greek for revelation. Revelation is to show you what has been hidden, what the God and the goddess have both been hiding in each other and in themselves. Okay, so we have the pomegranates behind her head, the triple crown for the goddess on her head, the moon goddess. This is the card for the moon, the tarot card for the moon. Tarot cards are flashcards for Kabbalah. This is the tarot card. The moon card is for Pisces, but this is for the moon. This is a higher, because it's a planetary, not zodiacal. And she is for the Hebrew letter of Gimel, to which there's a Bible verse in Psalm 119 that we can get to at another time. There's for the Gimel, that this would be for, you could recite at the same time. So this is for the path in Kabbalah that is Gimel, which goes straight up to Keter. Straight up to Keter, the crown chakra. And she is Gimel is the third letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and it means camel in Hebrew. So camel, or it's the camel ride up to the crown chakra. Now, the Western Array musical note for the moon or Luna is F. So we're going to play that for you now. So these are invocative. Okay, that's for the moon. That's a note of F. And the tarot card for Leo is Strength. And this is Leo. In this deck it's number 8. In some decks it's number 11, I believe. But in this deck it's number 8. I think it changes place with the Justice card in some decks. But this is Strength. And it's for Leo. It's the zodiac. It's attributed with the zodiac sign of Leo, the lion. As you see, the woman is kind of Virgo taming the lion. Virgo taming the lion. Now, we have the Western Array musical note for Leo is A. So we have our tuning fork is A. Okay, that's for Leo. That is A. Now, the information found in this document and the attached document in the blog and also in this video is based on the oral tradition of Kabbalah taught to me by a Rosicrucian clergy when I was but a young girl, the facts of which I've committed to memory. I've also memorized a lot of the information I got from a German coven. It was a German pagan coven. It wasn't really Wiccan. It was a German pagan coven, and it had satellite German pagan covens in the United States, and I was in one of those covens, and I learned a lot, and I studied a lot, and I started writing a book called my Star Magic Grimoire. It has ice on the cover. This is not my Book of Shadows. This is my Star Magic Grimoire that I started in 1988, and I'm now putting it in a blog form and also in video form here. And another incarnation, another thing I'm doing, where I have other information I share. I have a Book of Shadows that I was in another coven, a Wiccan coven, where I share that. So I use a lot of this, where I have a lot of my diagrams and my writings are in here, which is kind of hard to see because it gets washed out. But you see it here. I guess you can see it there. Yeah, and that's. And again, I'm putting the bulk of it now on the internet, which I'm grateful for the ways it's been given. It helps to organize things, that kind of thing. Now, some of the other books that we'd like to mention here are one of our reference books by Christopher Warnock is Mansion of the Moon, a lunar zodiac for astrology and magic. That's the 2019 and 2033 ephemeris, plus it gives you all the mansions, and it has pictures of the lunar mansions illustrated by Nigel Jackson. It's a 2019, okay? Published by Renaissance Astrology. And we have another book that we use, 3 books of occult philosophy, Llewellyn's source book series, authored by Henry Cornelius Agrippa of Neciel in 1533, translated by James Freak in 1650, edited and annotated by Donald Tyson in 1993. And published by Llewellyn in 2000. Now, we have a lot of Donald Tyson's books. He has one book that shows a magical system based on Mercury rather than being based on the sun. So it starts with a Kabbalistic diagram based on Mercury. It's very interesting. And also, the third reference we'd like to mention is The Fixed Stars and Constellations in Astrology, authored by Vivian E. Robson, Bachelor of Science in 1923, published by American Federation of Astrologers, Inc., cover design by Jack Coppola. So we use that as well for the references to Ptolemy. And you'll notice that some of the lunar mansions in Ptolemy's work are two digits off from the lunar mansions in Agrippa and Warnock's book. That's just because all systems, usually they have two camps and they have 2 digits apart. Like it's a tradition. It like causes people to seek. Because without seeking, there's no movement. Without movement, there's no life. So like you have the Western system of using 12 in our measuring system, and you have a decimal system using 10 in a metric system, and that's to cause you to seek. Which one's right? Neither one is right or wrong. It's to make you argue and seek and compete so that there's life. Because without competition, without Pepsi or Coke, Beatles or Rolling Stones, without those kinds of things, there's no life. You have to have some competition. And you have to kind of, mix it up a bit, hopefully safely. But without competition, there can be no business and no life either. So there has to be, and it's good when there's more than just 2. It's good when there's, maybe at least 8 different things to choose from or something like that. Anyway, I enjoy having a business, so I want there to be more than just giant monopolies. I like small business. I have one, and I enjoy having a small business. And I've had it for a long time, and I've enjoyed it. It's gone through a few incarnations, but I'm enjoying it. So I thank you very much for listening and watching, and please join us again next time. We're going to do all 4 quarters of the moon each week, and then we're going to also do the 4 quarters of the sun, and then lunar eclipses and solar eclipses. Okay, so thanks. We'll see you soon.